This is the new Mercedes Eqs SUV and I'm here in Denver, Colorado. I've got the car for a day and I'm going to drive it to see various landmarks, including the Rocky Mountains. I'm going to take it off-roading, see if it will actually off-road, and I'm also going to see a top secret AMG. Well, so long as everything goes to plan, because as part of this test, I'm going to see exactly what the real world range is of this car. Hopefully, I won't run out of electricity. Anyway, let's do this. I'm on a tight schedule. I think it's going to be chaos. Buy, sell,
car. Wow.
Here we are then. I've got a full battery, well, 98% full. It says I've got a range of up to 303 miles and I'm starting on 2,178 miles on the trip computer. Let's see how far we can actually go and what the energy consumption really is. So, our first destination is going to be some Red Rock Mountains. See if I can pull out of here without crashing into another car, because I know the Americans are very litigious. And this is a very expensive car. Starts from £130,000 in the United Kingdom. Oh, someone's let me out. I'm just not used to that. I'm used to driving in London. First thing to note in this car when driving through the city is that the suspension is very, very smooth. Air suspension is standard and it does glide over the bumps extremely well. One thing I do think though is that while the suspension is very good, it's not quite as smooth as the EQS Saloon. I think that's just because it's an SUV, because it's taller. They have to make the suspension a bit stiffer to stop it leaning so much in the bends because you've got that higher centre of gravity. SUVs don't tend to go over bumps as smoothly as saloon cars for that reason. Look, Mile High Stadium. As part of this trip that I'm doing, I'm wanting to come back and actually have a look at the stadium up close. Don't know if I'm going to have time to do that. Don't know if I'm going to have charge to do that. Hopefully I will, or it could all go horribly wrong. Here we are then in the Red Rock Mountains and it's absolutely stunning here. Look at it. You do not get anything like this in Europe. Whoa! Scenery is stunning, but what about the car? Well, I quite like the look of it from the front. You've got this big blanked-in grille, because it doesn't need a grille, it's electric. You've got these cool little Mercedes 3-point stars in there, as well as the big star and a light bar across the front. That's all right. The back is so-so. I like this full-length light bar here. Not so sure why they bothered to put like this fake exhaustery bits in there. What's all that about? The big problem for me though is the side profile. I know this car is designed to be as aerodynamic as possible to maximise your range, but it just looks a bit meh. It's the same with the EQS. This doesn't look like £130,000 from this angle, and I'll show you the main problem. You see, the GLS, which is the old-fashioned dinosaur juice-powered top-of-the-range SUV from Mercedes, somehow looks more substantial, more imposing than this new eco-friendly electric-powered range-topping SUV. Oh dear. To be fair, this EQS SUV just feels way more expensive on the inside than the GLS. I mean, look at this, look at this! Now I'm going to go into more detail on the interior of this car a bit later on, because first I need to go see a secret AMG. Before I do that, I'm going to drive through a hole in the Red Rock Mountain because, you know, tourism. This is brilliant. This car appears to have gear shifter pedals, but they're not for shifting gears. They're actually for changing the amount of recuperation you get when you lift off the throttle in terms of the engine braking, which puts the energy back into the battery. Now I've got it in normal recuperation and I'm controlling things myself, which is fine, but what you can do is pull and hold this pedal here and it'll go into intelligent recuperation. What it's going to do now is let the car decide how to apply the brakes to regain energy. So as I come into a corner, it'll decide whether I need to slow down. If it does, then it will actually engage the brakes, although they're not the brakes, it's just the recuperation. It helps maximize efficiency. It's really good, especially when you're on a twisty road such as this. It'll also use the brakes if you're getting too close to the car in front as well. You have to trust it though. You have to trust it, because sometimes you think it's not going to do it, and then it does. Look now, see, it's braking. Car in front is going slow. This car is now braking. I'm not having to do anything. I can actually feel the brake pedal just depress automatically below my foot. It's a little bit weird, but it's also very clever. I am doing absolutely nothing, which is sort of how it should be in a luxury SUV. I've arrived at the location. Let's go check out this new AMG. It is pretty exciting. Let's do this. So, what is it? They haven't actually revealed what it is yet, but apparently it's through here. Right, so I wonder if it's going to be super sporty. We're going to find out right now, so here we go.
Whoa, 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 you can't go in there with that camera.
Oh yeah, I actually read in the information for this trip that there's a separate embargo for this new AMG. It's not today and I can't film it on this camera. If you want to find out exactly what the car is, you need to make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon. That way you'll be alerted when that video goes live. I'm heading off now to take the Eqs SUV off-road, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to see what it's like to be driven in. So I've jumped into the back and I'm letting cameraman Lewis chauffeur me. Say letting, I've sort of told him to do that. Anyhow, what's it like in the back? Well, first of all, it's very quiet and it's very comfortable. I've got lots of space, decent knee room, good headroom. Also, I can adjust the back seats electrically, move them forwards and backwards, and alter the angle of the backrest. Now, you don't quite have the functionality available in the back of this car that you get with the Eqs Saloon. I don't have the two-seater seating package with extra reclination, which I would quite like, but you don't only get that on SUVs anyway. What I have got though is a rear entertainment package, so I can mess around with the infotainment system and actually put destinations into the satellite navigation, so I can tell Lewis to take me somewhere without having to actually speak to him. There's also decent practicality in here. Look, I can fold this down. You get an armrest. You've got some storage under here for your mobile phone with a charging pad. And look, this one has the tablet upgrade, so I can control certain features on this as well, including the blind for the sunroof. Though I'm not going to use it now because I've got GoPro stuck to the sunroof and that might damage the system. I have a couple of cup holders here. First of all, look, you've got a cutaway for your mobile phone, and then if I did that again, there's your cup holders. There's some through loading here as well if you need it. Look, and we have storage pockets here and big door bins. Whoa, that is a big truck. They have big trucks in America, so this car is quite well insulated, but I could certainly hear that going past. I've now jumped into an EQS 580 because it's the dual motor version. We've got four-wheel drive. I've picked up Andreas, who is my off-road instructor, and we're going to go off-road. But before we do that, we need to set the car up, right?
That's correct. A couple of things to set up to have pretty good control on where we're going, visibility there. So we would start with the instrument cluster. If you would hit the home button,
yep,
and switch us into the off-road mode. That gives you all the angles, the directions where we're gonna go.
Cool.
Then on the main screen,
yep,
we would also probably start with the dynamic select.
Okay.
To the left.
I'm going sport, wrong way.
Not this time around. So we go to the off-road mode. We activate it right here.
Okay, what's that done then?
It will lift the car up 22 millimeters to a total of 220 millimeters. Gives us those extra 22 millimeters for ground clearance. Also, on the ESP side, it will just regulate your throttle to be a little bit more sensitive for a slippery condition. Just altogether better for the off-road setup.
Okay, I like the screen that you've got there on your
I got the
display.
off-road mode.
Can I have that as well? I want to sit
You can have that on the center.
So I sound like a little child then, didn't I? I want that as well.
It's all good. You've got lots of stuff to play with. So if you hit the home button and you would select the off-road mode,
there we go.
That gives you that functionality. I would actually recommend to go straight into the camera mode here,
yeah,
which gets us to the transparent hood. So we see from the camera that is located right underneath the star. We get the picture of where we're going, following our guys in front of us.
Okay, so I can see under my bonnet now.
You do see exactly what's happening in front of your wheels.
Do you know where I've seen that before?
Probably the GLC.
No, I saw it on a Range Rover first.
That's not possible. Yeah, it's a pretty good feature. We got a pretty steep curve, a bank on the left-hand side, so we want to try to stick to the right, the yellow lanes, basically.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to lift my seat up because I'm a bit short.
Here, a nice 90-degree curve.
Whoa, that's a good turning circle. Look at that.
Yes.
So the rear wheels are turning at 10 degrees to help me get around that corner. Otherwise, I'd have been doing a 3-point turn, wouldn't I?
You would.
You know, this isn't really meant as a hardcore off-road. You've got the G-Wagon for that. But one thing I like about electric vehicles is you've got so much control because there's no like gearbox, there's no like internal combustion engine.
You don't have to rev up the engine to get your torque. You got the torque basically once you turn on the car.
Whoa. Yeah, use that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here they take a pretty wide turn to cut in between those trees over there.
Literally nobody who buys this car is ever going to do this, but it can do this if that's important to you.
It is.
I have to point out though that this car is on aftermarket all-terrain tyres, which you don't get from the dealer.
We stick pretty close to the left tree,
okay,
so we probably slip a little bit as we approach that hill. Once you have this tree in my B-pillar, we would cut over in order not to hit the tree in front. Up to the right now, sharp.
This is really tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was wondering why the heck you're coming with me, and I can see why now, because it's not particularly the hardest off-roading, but it's quite narrow, isn't it? And I might end up damaging some of the bodywork if I was just left on my own.
Once you're climbing up the hill, there's no noise as you climb up. It's a pretty challenging climb, but all you hear is the rocks slipping from the wheels. That's really it.
Yeah, I can feel it going over the rocks, like trying to get traction. I mean, this is going so much torque, it pulls the car up here, no problem. Okay, so this is quite tight, this is. Is that going to go around there? Do you reckon?
Will I promise? All good. Our rear comes up. Creaking in the car.
Crap.
All good. All good. Good.
Whoa.
All good. All good. So you also can see it in here on the suspension overview. The car is tipping over across the center point from mogul to mogul. Just a little bit more to the left. Yep, went super slow. Maybe even go below 1 mile per hour.
So on that, when you've got wheels in the air and stuff, does the stability control like stop one of the wheels from spinning up?
Correct. That's the ESP that would kick in then. Now we're on the downhill descent, the same one we came up. Go downhill now, this straight shot. We can activate the downhill speed regulation.
Okay.
You can see on the instrument cluster it's preset to 4 miles per hour.
Can I make it lower?
You can absolutely, on like same as the cruise control.
Okay, so I'm going to go, so lowest I can go is 1.
It can go all the way between 1 miles per hour and all the way up to 11 miles per hour.
I'm literally doing nothing. Maybe a bit of steering and a lot of chatting.
Also to support the off-road capabilities, we do have torque on demand, divided between the front and the rear axle.
Whoa, that looked good.
Yep. Track control.
Oh, that was good. I like that. Yeah. I can't believe how manoeuvrable it is. Coming to the end, and do you know what? Often I do these off-road things, then a little bit like, yeah, so what? Could have done that in a normal car. But that, with how tight it was and some of the drops after the bends, was just so good. I didn't think it'd be quite as good off-road as it is. Right, so I've jumped back into the 450 plus. So instead of all-wheel drive and 544 horsepower and 858 newton meters of torque, like you get in the 580, I've now got just 360 horsepower and 570 newton meters of torque. As I'm driving up this twisty mountain road, I don't feel like I'm lacking power. It's quick enough, this car. Responsive when you prod the accelerator, and it picks up well enough, especially when you consider that it weighs 2.5 tons. Speaking of which, for a big heavy SUV, goes around corners pretty well. You know, the steering's accurate, doesn't lean too much in the bends. I'm in comfort mode. I'm actually going to go into sports mode now, which should stiffen up the air suspension a bit, so I'm not leaning so much. Whey, it's okay. It handles all right for a big luxury electric SUV, but above all else, what really stands out is just how relaxing it is. So relaxing. You can hear things moving around in the car. It's because we've got a bag in the back. It's there to illustrate the lateral G that this car is pulling. And that noise is to illustrate that I'm getting too close to the car in front and it wants to auto brake. Calm down, Mercedes. I'm not going to crash. Although I almost did. Because of the deer. Oh no, I almost ate my words there. Thankfully, the system saved me. I thought I'd stop off at this beautiful backdrop. We've got a lake, the Rocky Mountains in the background. It says that there no boating, but we're going to talk about booting and the capacity of this car's boot. So with all the seats folded down, there's 2,100 litres of space, and as you can see, you have a pretty much continuously flat floor. I'm just going to put the middle row up, which I can do electrically. Oh yeah, luxury. And then I have 800 litres of space. You have 890 litres of space in the boot of a GLS. This is a 7-seater. If you have the 5-seater version, you have 880 litres of space. Like I say, 7-seater, so I'm going to pull up the rearmost seats, which I have to do manually, which is a bit annoying. I don't know why these aren't electric. Be good if they were. Right, now the capacity here is 190 litres. Is that enough for me to fit in? Let's find out. Please fit, otherwise it's going to be uncomfortable. Yes, I fit. Okay, this is not very comfortable. It's a good time for me to show you what space is like. The very most back seats. God. Okay, bear with me. I'll just get into here. Right. Can an adult fit here in the back? Well, just put this back up. I'm going to try and move this out of the way so you can see what's going on. Knee room's tight, and this seat is, yeah, it's okay. Someone could sit here, no problem. But foot space, really tight. Headroom, it's snug. Not really for adults, this, but kids will probably be okay on shorter journeys. I'm heading back down the mountain now, and I'm wondering how much charge I can put back into the battery. So it's saying 51% and 158 miles of range. Obviously, as I'm going down here, I'm recouping energy, putting it back into the battery. Will I add an extra percent, or will I not? We'll find out. What I'm doing is using the paddles to actually change the level of recuperation. And then when I want to pick up speed, pull and hold the paddle and go into intelligent recuperation mode again. I've come to the bottom of the mountain and the battery's now at 55%, so I've put in 4% of battery, which works out to about 4 kilowatts. Exciting, eh? Actually, let's do something that's actually exciting. Mercedes says this EQS SUV should be able to do 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds, but I'm going to find out for myself using my specialist timing gear. I'm going to launch it, let's do it. Well, we've got a time, 6.51 seconds, slightly slower than claimed. I need to recharge my batteries now, and I'm going to do something very American. I'm going to go to In-N-Out Burger. Speaking of recharging batteries, this EQS SUV has a 108 kilowatt hour battery, and you can charge it at up to 200 kilowatts on DC charging. On AC charging as standard, it will do 11 kilowatts, but you can upgrade to have a 22 kilowatt onboard charger. Now, if you're charging this thing on a 7 kilowatt wall charger at home, it's going to take 15 hours to charge it up. If you're doing it using DC and you can find a 200 kilowatt hour charger, it can go from 10% full to 80% full in about half an hour. Now I've just got to find a place to park because I can't be bothered with the drive-through. Well, here's Mile High Stadium. See if we can go in here. Little look at it. Okay, I've finally come to the end of my journey, stopping here right at Broncos Stadium. Now, in total, I've done almost 157 miles, and I have 53% of battery remaining, which means that if I was to use all the battery, it would be able to take me 297 miles, which is all right. I tell you what is more than all right, though. That's the interior of this car. It's absolutely lovely. The materials are great. The wood finish is lovely. This optional extra hyper screen is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look, you can see the stadium here on the 3D sat nav. That looks so cool. Looks really nice with the ambient lighting here as the sun's going down. The steering wheel feels expensive, and obviously it's electrically operated. There's also plenty of adjustment in the seats as well, so you can get a good view out. I like this as well, lots of storage, big door bins there. You've got more storage under here. Big storage area under here, some USB connectors, more storage under here. A decent sized glove box as well, look. It's all very nice and it feels very expensive. And if you're thinking about buying a car like this and you need to sell your current car, then check out Carway, just upload some photos, give a brief description, then our dealers will bid on your car and you can find out how much it's really worth. And if you want to, you can just sell to the highest bidder or just not bother, just find out what your car's worth. It's completely free to use. If you want to do that now, click on the pop-out banner up there for the link in the description below. Alternatively, at a later date, you can just go there by simply Googling "Help Me Carwow." We'll help you find out what your car's really worth. There is one thing I've just noticed actually when I was opening this. That button feels a bit cheap, and actually the gear selector feels a bit cheap at a car at this price. And that brings us to 5 annoying things about the Mercedes EQS SUV. Being an electric car, there is obviously space under the bonnet because there's no internal combustion engine under there, which means you have a front boot, right? Well, wrong. In fact, on this EQS SUV, Mercedes don't even let you open the bonnet. Only their dealers can do that. Why? While there's a blind for the sunroof, there are no blinds for the back windows like you can get on the EQS Saloon. Why not? This is supposed to be a luxury vehicle. I demand blinds in the back of the car because I'm a very important person. And like with a lot of other SUVs, the doors don't cover the sills, look. So if you're driving on a dirty road, this part can get covered in muck. And then when you're getting in and out, look, can you see this? Can you see that? My legs are rubbing on that sill, so you're going to get dirt all over the back of your legs, either your calves in this instance or your expensive trousers. When you're creeping along really slowly on the brakes, say in traffic, they make this weird creaking sound. That doesn't seem very luxury, does it? The optional rear entertainment package looks a little bit old-fashioned with the huge bezel of the screen. Also, unlike with some other manufacturers, you can't remove it, which is annoying because if you're not using it, it's sort of like it's quite intrusive because it sticks out quite a long way. It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car. To get access to the rearmost row, you press and hold this button here and it moves the middle row out of the way, like that. Is that enough room to get through? Yeah, easily enough. And to get it back, you press this button. And you bring it exactly into place. That is really easy to do. You get this car with Mercedes' new digital lights, and what that can do is project directions directly on the road ahead for the ultimate in route guidance. Cool, huh? If you're kind enough to lend your expensive luxury SUV to your children, you can actually put it into beginner mode where you can limit the top speed, you can reduce the acceleration, you can alter the airspeed so it's always on, and you can limit the amount of drive programs they can use. If you need to top up the car's windscreen washer fluid, it's dead easy. You just open this flap here and pour your liquid in there like that. Sorted. The passenger display on the hyperscreen remains subdued like this unless there's someone sat here. All right, see, I get in and now I can operate it. There you go. I've got the infotainment system. I can even display images there if I want. However, the system will know if the driver starts getting distracted by it and will automatically dim it again so that they can concentrate on the road. So then, what's my final verdict on the Mercedes Eqs SUV? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the Eqs SUV. Admittedly, it is rather expensive, the exterior design is, and the range is average. However, if you want the most luxurious feeling electric SUV, this is it.